Hello everyone, welcome to the 1 year. All right, it's been 1 year, I can't believe it. I'm so excited to celebrate today with you all. And we have got a full house already, so that's always really exciting. So I'm gonna say hello to everyone. Hi Susan, Magda, and we got Francine. I love that you've rearranged your schedule so you can be here on Tuesdays, Francine. Deanna's in the house. Love that you've made it here, Deanna. Stephanie, and we got Janelle and Cameron. That's my hubby downstairs. He's always here. He's really sweet. And hi, Pam. So glad that you're here. And Chrisella. Oh, I'm so glad that you were able to pop in even though you're at work, Chrisella. Cameron, you must be so proud of your lady. Oh, that's so sweet. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Michelle. Thank you. So excited to be here. I honestly can't believe it's been a year already, and it just kind of blows my mind. It's pretty amazing how quick time flies by. And I just, I have to say, I never thought YouTube, the community on YouTube was going to be so fulfilling. And I know I went from 2 days a week down to one, but I had to create some life balance and work balance. And it just makes this 1 day a week even more special. So I'm really glad to be here. And we're going to celebrate with a free lesson. I am really excited to get started on that. I'm going to talk a little bit once we get everyone kind of rolling in here. We got Michelle here. So glad that you made it, Michelle. We've got a couple Michelles here. So wow, what a great group. So I'm glad that you guys are rolling in. And when we roll in, this is on replay. So if you've missed anything, you can always watch it again. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what we're going to create and the supplies, because this is a great beginner lesson for people. And oh my gosh, we already got an anniversary super chat. Chrisella's in the house. You just wanted to be first. You've been one of my big super chatters this year. I have really appreciated it. Thank you for starting it off on such a fun, happy note. Super chat for the win, Chrisella. I love this one because you can interact with it. You can give it a thumbs up. You can reply to it. So that's a lot of fun. So thank you so much. You've been a huge support on this journey. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about some supplies and just kind of get that going, because I'm probably going to run long today. I'm telling you guys all up front, if you've watched the Get Ready video, that's in the link below, which it has your line art and your assets file. I also put the download link for the free assets file for you in the link below. But there's also a video for you to learn how to transfer your image and do all that if you are new. So I just wanted to make sure everyone had that, because there's no way I'm going to be able to fit all that in here. My lessons are way longer. So, oh, Laura's in the house. Welcome, Laura and Karen. You guys have been here for so long. Michelle has too. So has Deanna. A lot of you guys are the OGs. So thank you so much. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the supplies here. I'm using UArt. It's the star of my show. It's UArt 600 grade. It comes in multiple grades. The grades are very important. The grades allow me to use the soft tools. This is a soft tool. It's made out of high density foam. There's also little applicators, but I find the little applicators are the same size as the tip as this. So I've used the oval because I get way more coverage and flexibility. So these soft tools are worth the investment to try out. This paper doesn't tear up your soft tools. It also holds a lot of layering and kind of allows me to do all the stuff that I do with PanPastel. So the paper makes a huge difference in your experience. So a lot of people get into pastel and they'll start diving in and they don't think much of the paper, but the paper is the deal. So that is a huge one. It's worth the investment. I've transferred my image and I have supported my image with my carbon pencil. Oh, that's not my carbon pencil, but I got one around here. With my carbon pencil right here. Now, the video shows you how to do this, the one that's getting started. And so that's where we're at right now. I've also put a couple darks in. We're going to put, we always go get our darks in first, so we'll be definitely doing that first. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the PanPastels. I've put a couple more on because I couldn't help myself. because I made a decision. Now, I don't always have my colors all worked out right away. So I picked out, after I talk about the colors, I will go back into chat. But the colors that I picked out, I want to do a complementary color scheme. We're going to go more into the blues with some green, a blue-green. And then I made a decision that we're making the seahorse orange to make it a lot easier, because then we're just dealing with values in the seahorse. And we might touch in a little bit of blues in there for reflection and stuff like that. So the colors I have are the turquoise shade, the ultramarine blue. I think this one's the shade. No, this is the core. And then we got permanent green shade, orange shade, and orange extra dark, just in case, because I'm going to do the seahorse in that. And the burnt sienna core. We got black and white. Now, for those of you who are newer to PanPastel is structured in families, and each family has a core. So for turquoise, if I want to get this turquoise shade, I'm going to add black. If I'm going to want to get the turquoise tint, I'm going to add white. So white and black are really important in getting the full spectrum with your PanPastel. So I'm also going to put darks in because it only goes so dark. So I'm hoping you guys, when you download it, you got your trusty value chart here. We're going to talk more about that. Oh, I got 36 of you in here already. That's crazy. Maybe we'll beat my record today. My record is 52, you guys. So for the first year anniversary, we could beat it. You never know. So let's say hi. We got Debbie in the house. Welcome, Debbie. And we got Mystic Maples Art. Hello, from Vancouver Island. I chose regular sandpaper today, but I find the 600 grit destroys my applicators. Maybe you art is different. Well, I definitely think there's a lot of different sandpapers out there. The problem with sandpaper, it's great to practice on and do things on, but it does come from so many different manufacturers, you just don't know. So the UArt is the bee's knees on that one, and it does not tear up my applicators. But if you're hard on your applicator and you're learning, it'll tear up your applicator. This will still tear up my applicator if I'm hard with it and I'm rubbing over and over. So it's just kind of a learning curve. Hi, Peg, you're in the house. You've been to almost every single one of my lives. I think you've been to every one. That's awesome. And we got Michelle. Loretta's here. Welcome, Loretta. April's here. Suzanne H is here. Thank you for the congratulations. And JC Creates. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome. So glad that you're here. Okay, well, we have a lot of painting to do, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the seahorse first. And I got a little crazy with the kelp and stuff. But what we're going to do is we're going to, well, the one thing I want to say before I move forward too is if you are following along, I've said this in the video also, the getting ready video, I'm going to be painting fast. I have to paint fast because this painting would normally take me about probably 3 to 4 hours to paint, you know, on average probably about 3. So I'm on a 2-hour live and I'm probably going to go longer just because that's just the way it is. Because I'm chat forward on YouTube. So that's why I'm here, is to connect with you guys. And so I want, if I was just head down, sure, I could probably get through it, but that's not as much fun, right? So let's see. I just want to make sure I got this going. Maria's here. Welcome from Sweden. That's awesome. Thank you for the congrats, you guys. Luis is here. Yay! You've been here for a long time too. So many of you. Thank you for your kind words. All right, we're almost to 40. That's awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do to get warmed up, normally I kind of have this a little bit far. Oh, I just got another super chat. I don't know if we're going to be getting too far. All right, Laura, thank you for the congrats. That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming to the party That's awesome. Christella says, wasn't trying to be the first, but will leaving work soon. Oh, well, that's fine. I'm just glad that you're here, Christella. I just got to give you a bad time because you are one that super chats a lot, so that's awesome. Deanna says, oh, you got questions from Deanna, Michelle, so that's awesome. I love your gecko. No, it's for Laura. All right, so here we go. So I got some fresh wands, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working dark to light. This is going to blow out my my chart a little bit because the paper's all black and there's not a lot of other colors on here. So my camera is over adjusting for that, and I want, you know, everyone to be able to see. But if you're working with values, I like to put it this way because the values are planes of like existence. And those planes of existence are, you know, coming closer and pushing farther away. So when you're doing values and you're pushing things farther away, you're going to want to put them darker. And then when you want to pull them forward, they're going to be pulled to the light. Then you're also dealing with light and value and light and shadow. And so that is also playing a role. So our piece here is we're going to be having, now pastel pencils can be pretty strong, so I'm just going to use a wand and I'm going to show you the light. The light source that we're playing with is coming down from like the top here. So like up here. Because this is the ocean, right? Now, you guys are like, oh my gosh, she's just throwing marks on there right now. That's not part of the thing. I'm just showing you light source, okay? Now that light source is coming in. I mean, it can even ray out, like, you know, we can change the rays if this is the water coming up, but that's where the light source is going to be. So the top of this seahorse, the chest of this seahorse, like this right here, all the top here, and then you're also going to deal with lightness up on here. So I'm just going to tap these through so you can get a visual. The fins are kind of transparent, so you're going to get a little bit more light in the fins. Now this chest here, I'm just going to put some light touches of like where that, you know, brightness is going to be. We're going to have that in the chest. So when you're dealing with this, you kind of want to know where you're going. So my focal point is right here. And I'm also going to be putting like the brightest of the water right here. Now, this is going to cascade down, and so there's also going to be some light on the tail here. And then we have our light on top of the tail and a little bit on here. So I think tapping this out can kind of really help you guys out a little bit. This fades in because this is going to be a rounded section. Now on the head, we're going to put all of the lights up in here, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. And I'm just giving you a little map. Then there's going to be a little reflection underneath the chin there. So we got our little dots of where our light's going to be. I'm not going to worry about the plants because the plants are in the background. They're pushed back a bit. We're going to give where the seahorse is going to come forward a little bit more. All right, chat's good. All right, so that gives you an idea where the lights are. Now what we're going to put in first, we're going to put in some of our darks because I like to work light to dark. So I'm going to put in my darkest of darks first, and I already have a couple of them here in the plants, and I'm also going to, this area is going to be pushed back really as far as we can, so it looks like down here and up here, we're going to push that back pretty dark. So I'm going to prime my black here, because I got a little bit of stuff on it. And I'm just going to tap in where I'm going to go really dark here. We're not putting in pastel, just watch, because I just want to show you the areas in the sea of where we're going the darkest here. Now this is going to create a lot of contrast because you can see that where that light is where we're going to have dark. So that's a great design tool. Now up here is going to be one of our brightest spots, and on top of the head. So those are going to be pretty bright. And I'm going to do bright into the ocean, so it kind of looks pushed back. We're going to go darker around the edges here, but I think I'm going to leave that and kind of do that as we go, because if I get, you know, too into that, I don't know, I'll just see how I feel. So painting live is a whole different thing because you really can't get a full piece done the way I would want to be done live. And so that's why I picked this out. Now I'm hoping I could have changed this out where this was all smooth. Now the reason why I did this was to really map out the textures in a seahorse. So we'll start out, I'm going to put in some of these darks here. Where some of our darkest areas are going to be in the behind here. So I'm just going to load my tip of my wand here, and I'm just going to fill in those little dark spots. Not with a lot of PanPastel, guys. Like, I just have a little bit on there. It's just pushing it a little bit farther, because what we're going to do is we're going to put the color on top of it. Now, I could just use the orange dark, but what happens is that that's not dark enough. So that is the orange dark, extra dark. I want to be able to push it back even a little bit darker, and even when putting the black in there, that doesn't do a ton, but it definitely puts it back a little bit more. So now you can see, I'm going to get my monitor here. So now you can see that when I put the orange shade over it, the extra dark, you're gonna get that shade in there because I have the black in there. So I'm just trying to show you why it's doing what it's going to do. I'm going to put down my colors here just a second. There we go. Okay, so with that said, we're going to go dark to light first, and I'll show you a section here. What that's going to allow us to do is, like, we get our blacks in here and where all the shadows are going to be. So I'm going to go real light and just put some black in. And it's okay that I already have orange in there, but I'm just trying to make that because I want it to have those little divots in there, because it's going to make, you know, texture in there. It's going to make that shape come out. We're going for a 3D thing, and so we have to push in to get that. Now, they do have a little bit of rim lighting on the edge because they are in the water, and we're going to be bringing this color up a bit, but I'm just going to get these little darks in here. Now, this side is lighter, so I'm not going to put those darks in there right now. And I'm going to go and do the behind of the seahorse here. See how we're just getting some of those dots in there. Now, one of the darkest spots by the head is behind this little thing. So this is right here. I hit it with the white there, kind of messed it up a little bit. I'm going to fix it. Okay, so behind here, I'm going to point to it. This line right here is pretty much the darkest. So I'm going to actually use a pencil and my wand here, and I'm going to put my darks in behind the seahorse. I'm going to be a little bit more particular here because this is the focal point. So I'm going to use that transfer, and I'm going to get those. Now pastel pencil knocks off when you use PanPastel, but I need to claim some of this, and I think these two spots I'm going to be going back and forth with. So this little hole is a little bit darker. Now this one, the face, actually, I'm going to use PanPastel for it. The face actually shapes into this, and so I don't want to really necessarily go deep into that right here. So we do have this right here, and then I'm just going to put a little bit right there, and then we got this little guy right here. So we can go back later and kind of deepen these little spots if we want to, but they don't need to go through the seahorse. So that's where value comes into play. So we've claimed out that. There's also the little eye here I wouldn't mind doing really quick, because I always love to get my eyes in there. Now, since he's an orange seahorse, I'm going to put a little bit of this burnt sienna, which is a 670. And I'm going to give him just a little bit of color in his eye, and then I'm going to go back and hit that with black and make it a pupil. And now he's got a cute little fleck in his eye. And then I can even hit that little white highlight in his eye. So we've got a white highlight. Okay. So now I'm going to go through, and I think I'm going to work on this head part a little more later, because those are a little bit lighter, but I'm going to go really light with some black right here, and there's going to be some black underneath, just a little. So you can see here, and then right here in the neck, we got a little bit of darkness. Now you could go both ways. You could reverse and just put in your, orange and then put black over it if you wanted. So I'm going to go in and just start kind of putting some of this orange shade over these little dots here. And then I can use the orange. This is actually orange extra dark. This is the orange shade. Now I can take the orange shade and start going over some of these middle spots. So we can just tap in here. That's fine. We just want these to be visible so we know that they are recessed. So I'm just loading. I'm going to get a better wand here. I'm going to load my tip. Getting warmed up here. And I can go in here. And when I'm loading the tip, see what I'm saying right here? You can load the edge and you can get some of these detail in here. Sometimes I'm like, do I need the... Now, if I wanted to make this easy, it's a great practice though for you to use your wand, because, or you can just make the whole seahorse smooth and just gradient the seahorse. But I wanted to find a little bit of a happy medium. So I am literally touching and going down and getting those colors in, and I'm using the orange shade because the orange shade is still pretty bright. So it's on the mid-tone. So when we create and we get those mid-tones in, then we can push and pull them along the way. So I'm going to put that extra dark here in this hole. And that's going to bring up these little dark spots. And I wanted to have some division with them. I can go through and just do all of these. Just get a little bit of color in there. And so you have to really give this time to evolve. Like, it's not going to look amazing right away because my whole style works on layering. So layering is my superpower. And if you follow me long enough, watch enough videos, you definitely know that by now, right? Oh, thank you, Michelle, for your kind words. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Yep, that's a free way to support my channel, is to like and subscribe. So I'm just loading up the shade, and I'm going to go through and get some of these, the in-between parts laid down. Now, if you are using a wand, you can always choke up on the wand a little bit, and I can just tap that in. And I can get a little bit where I feel like there's more control. And I'm just tapping that thing. Now, if I went bigger with this piece, that's why I do create a lot in 12 by 16s, is because I really feel like it allows me to use the wand without feeling like I'm too tight. This is close to wanting to just do pastel pencils a lot, but I think we're at a good happy medium. It does not need to be perfect. Like, this is supposed to be the subtle vibe of, these little textures in there. I just thought about it and was hem-hawing between which way I wanted to take you guys on this one. I said if I would have done it super easy, I would have just gradiated the whole thing. But I think this is going to be, it's going to be worth the work for the payoff, because I think you're going to really like it. Okay, when layering, can you tell when the surface UArt won't take any more pastel? Yeah, I can definitely tell when it won't take any more pastel. I'm not putting a ton on right now, but you can usually feel that out because it's just not taking it down anymore. It's just moving around, or, if you feel that way, you gotta use your eraser as a tool. So you can erase and then you get that tooth back if you feel like you've layered on too much pastel. But for the most part, with the way I work with the pastel pencils and the PanPastel, it usually takes me quite a bit to fill it up. But so this shade, I'm going to put this in because this is where the light starts coming in. And I can use the paper a little bit. Wherever you go down first, it's going to be the darkest. So you can see I'm not pushing all the way up into the edge there. So I'm going to get some of that color down, and then I can gradient it out and have a little bit of shadow there, which I can reduce it and make it more as I go along the way. So I put those little white dots in so I know that light's going to be hitting in this area. So I'm just going to tap that one in and then go back and work on some of this other spots here first. So I can load both sides of my wand. I'm starting to run out of orange here, which, you know, I like to celebrate when I use up my supplies, because what does that mean? Who can answer that for me? If you're using up your supplies, we got to celebrate blank. Come on, guys. I know you're there. You're going to give me an answer, because that means you have been, I'm waiting for it. You have showed up. Woo woo, good job, Michelle and Deanna. Yes, 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 yes. Francine, so glad you've demonstrated how to hold the wand. I hold it like that when I'm working tiny space, and I thought I was probably gonna mess things up. Oh no, you're doing good. Oh, look at all of you guys showing up for the win, because what is your journey all about? 90% of it is all about showing up. If you're showing up, that's what you need to be praising yourself for, because that is most of the battle here. So I'm going to go through and do this back part here of the wand. Yeah, and I think starting out with the wand can be a little bit trickier. The applicators are great, but I usually don't like to work really tight. And you can see I'm not trying to go super realistic. I'm just trying to keep the structure there enough. And this, you know, having those darks in there and just kind of having that body have some of that pattern, that's what I'm after. Because I thought if I just put it in blank, then we're going to put those patterns in over and we won't really know how they flow as easy. So I'm just trying to get, it can be a subtle pattern. It doesn't have to be as strong. But I am trying to bump up where these lines hit. You're going to have a division because of, I'm putting down the dark, you know, the light here, and then I'm going to the dark. So this top is the lightest part, because seahorses have a lot of light reflection in it. So, you know, they can be a little tricky. So down here, I got more. I'm going to just keep going into my shade right now, because I got a lot of black in here. And that's the thing. If you don't have all these colors, you can mix them by putting black down, and then you're putting the color on top, and then that's going to naturally make a shade or an extra dark. And I like to color these in separate if I can. And I'm just using the little tip here. Like I'm literally just loading the tip. Now you might wear out yours. It can be a little harder on these things. And if some of these detail spots are a little bit challenging, remember we can go in with the pencils, but it's really hard to get pencils that are in the right value range. So I find that kind of challenging. Like I have this one, and they go down. I'll just show you an example here. They go down a little bit stronger. So if you were to go put these all down in pencils, they can be a little bit more challenging, because once you've gone down with pencils, you really can't go back. So I'd have to go back and forth. And for oranges in my Carbothello set, I only have these 2 sets. So then to get my the depth that I want, I'd have to use my oranges and my shadow pencil, which is fine. It just can be a little bit trickier. So I'm just trying to use as much PanPastel as I can. And then you can see, like if I bump on top of this, it's going to take some of that down. But if I can get some of the color in there, I can still see the pattern below. I can go in with a brighter, because this is the brighter side. Like I'm already worn out on this tip. Now I do wear out my tips really quickly when I'm doing lives, because I'm doing a lot on here, guys. If I showed you behind the scenes, I got all these cameras and I'm painting and I'm chatting. So you can see how we can get that in there. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I can just switch a wand or flip it over. I repeat that to myself all the time. Greatest takeaway this past year, no matter what medium you're working in, is showing up. So true. Oh, Adrienne, so glad that you're here. Well, that's what the replay is for. So you can always watch the replay and get the beginning. Dawn, was the beautiful hammered gold ring a birthday present? No, this is actually my mother's that I inherited after she passed away. And I just felt like I wanted to wear it today. So I like both, wearing both, but I usually wear a silver quite a bit. But thank you. I had a great birthday. Okay, so now I'm going to go up. We got most of our, mid-tones in there. You can see the pattern that we're going. I'm going to clean this up a little bit because this one looks a little odd. I'm just going to bump it with some orange. It doesn't have to be perfect. And maybe I go in and, I'm going to go with a bright orange here in between these little, this is the regular core orange, because this is where our light's hitting. And with the whole swirl, I'm just going to do the whole thing. So remember, this is only our first layer, guys. This layer is called the blocking in layer. So when I go really light, I can still see the pattern through because I'm not rubbing the pattern out. So that's okay, because then I can use pencils over it. I really like to get a layer of PanPastel down. So that's the extra staying power of the carbon pencil, that we took that time to set that up on our painting. And we'll be able to now push this back and forth because you can still see the patterns through it, and that's totally fine. Hey, we're getting closer to 50, guys. I wonder if we'll get that record broken today. Oh, thank you, Deanna. I agree with that. Yeah, she's passed away 4 years ago. Just recently had her anniversary. Okay, so I'm going to go and I'm going to start going and working up through the seahorse. And I'm going to go into this section and I'm going to use my, well, actually I'm going to use the shade to do just right here in the belly, because I just want some texture in there. I'm not going too heavy in the color because I want the paper to do some of the work. So I'm not loading it really heavily, but I'm still, as you can see, leaving some of those blacks around the edges. I'm wiping off my wand. And now I'm going to blend that in just a little bit. And I'm just bumping up to the edge, but you can still see I'm good with the black showing through, because the black is an underpainting. That is what makes the black paper so special, is it's like an underpainting. My style works with that. I'm not working on cream paper and then I got all those cream peeking through and I'd have to put all my darks in. That's why the black pencil, the carbon pencil, works really well with this whole creative process, is because it's okay if it peeks through, because it's part of my shadows. I can bury those lines if I need to. I don't have to have those lines. They will erase. There's no permanency in this process at all. That is the magical thing about it. All right, let's see. Hi, Paula. I'm staying in West Lynn again for my family and just showed another artist friend what you're up to. I can't wait to get home and try this. Awesome. Thank you, Paula. I actually got to meet her. We went to coffee once. It was awesome meeting you. Lynn, welcome, Lynn. So glad that you're here. And Sarah's here. Thank you so much, guys. Let's see, I made it. I pulled out my UArt for the project. First time using it. Oh, well, that's great, Sarah. So glad that you got the paper. Okay, so I've got those in there. Now I'm going to use the core color because it's pretty bright. And I'm going to go up here because we're actually going to be pushing this belly even brighter with some white. But I'm going to get, this is where pastel pencils will come in later. So I'm going to get this first initial layer in here with my tool. Now I'm using those edges. It's a really good practice. We're just going over the white, so that actually is helpful. And this is going to be our brightest area. I initially was thinking I was going to have a multi-toned seahorse. There's a little divot here. I'm just going to go over it, and if it shows through, that's fine. Because I'm going really light. I'm not going heavy, so I'm not pushing that under pattern away. And we want that pattern to stay. We want to see the lines, so that's fine. And then these will be even brighter. I don't have much on my wand, so I'm going to go over here and finish these little guys. And these are all bright. So seeing all those lines are totally fine, because we are going, my work looks like stained glass at first, and then we start bringing it all together. So we're just trying to get some of those initial values in there. Now, right here where the little fin is, I'm going to start from the brightest point up at the top, and then I'm going to go in. And when I go in, that creates a natural gradient. So you can see how that's naturally looking. And I really love that. So if your wand picks up too much black from the black, then you just wipe off your wand and then you go in and reapply again. So we're working with the black on the layers, because working with them, that is how we get our gradients come more natural. So now you can see we got that put in there quite nicely, and it's all looking pretty good. So this area, we're just going to work on, you know, balancing it out like I'm going on. I don't even have anything in my wand, and I'm just shadowing this and kind of balancing it out a little bit. And it just takes practice. So lots of practice. Holly's here. Welcome. I think it's your first time in chat. I jumped on and I see 2 other colors of PanPastel that have been added. Will anyone tell me those colors? Well, I'm here, Holly. You can talk to me. Hi, Holly. I just put those on. I don't, I use the orange extra dark, but you can mix it. All you have to do is put black underneath, which I showed you at the beginning. So if you put black down in some of those darks, then you put your shade or your orange on it and it'll push it back. You can also add black over and under so you can get that balance out. So you're mixing directly on the paper. You can even mix with your wand by putting black on and then going into your orange, and then you can go on and see how that's pretty dark already. So then I know, oh, I need to put more orange on there, and then I'm mixing it, and now I've just mixed the extra dark right here. So I'm just putting those on because I like to show you guys, like, the reason why I'm putting the pastel colors on and I'm not mixing everything. Mixing is a little misconstrued when it comes to pastel, because pastel, you want pure form. And that's why I'm so excited about the new pastel colors coming in. Because right here with the orange, this is the core color, and the next step up is a tint. So when PanPastel originally designed this, I think they really had a lot of gaps, because Golden, who bought out PanPastel, is now putting the next step up in almost all the families of the color in between the orange. So like we're going to have orange, and it might say orange light or orange medium. And those are going to be, so then we can mix with permanent, like a, I mean, not permanent, but a highly pigmented that's, you know, pure. Now, when you mix and you add white, it makes it less pure, less saturated. So it dulls things. So this new line of PanPastel that's coming out is going to be huge because of just those color jumps right there. They are also coming out with a handful of new families that are gapped. Pink, there is no pink in the whole line, if you think of it. And now we're going to have red light, red medium. Those are really pinks. So it's pretty amazing. Oh, did I hit 50? I'm at 50. So I will tell you guys, if you want to get the new PanPastel colors, they're at Mary Artist, and you can go there. I don't have the direct link for them, but when you go there, you can save 10% by using Dawn VS. That is my code. And they're pre-ordered. They should ship any day. I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, I've hit 50, 51. That's awesome. So 53, if I hit 53, we'll break the record today. So now I've got kind of the basic of the orange down, and we're going to start, you guys are awesome. Look at you guys all excited. I'm excited about the new colors too. And I think being able to tell you guys a little bit why you're going to use them. So when they get here, I'm making a video right away, folks, because I'm pretty excited about them. And I think I really understand how PanPastel is structured to the extent of really understanding what gaps they're filling. And I can't wait to tell you all about them. So that's going to be happening. That's awesome. Oh, is there 50? I only have 51 on my thing, but oh, I see it on there. That is amazing. We're so close. Okay, so we're gonna go up and I'm just gonna get the face kind of going. And I'm not gonna go up to the edges there because I am gonna put some white pastel pencil in there so we can keep that shape. I don't wanna lose that. So I'm gonna go up into the face with my core color here. And I'm gonna bump that up right here. And I'll be able to put some dark in if I want to shape that some more. We have some dark black underneath right there. Oh, well, that's awesome. I'm glad you're learning about that, Holly. This is the place to learn about all things PanPastel. And if you guys aren't signed up for my newsletter, definitely go to my website, sign up for my newsletter. You get in the know of all the things. So we are going to drop this in, and we're going to be really careful right here. I'm going to go in under the eye, and I'm going to keep those pretty. I'm going to be careful with that. I'm going to load my right side. So I got my right side loaded here, and I'm going to use that. And you can create, so you can create all these lines and stuff, you guys. You can do all this stuff with your wand. You just have to take some practice. When I started using the wand, it's just like going from a mouse to a stylus. You just got to commit. And I'm just going really light. Trying to get that line without erasing my line. Okay, I'm going to bring this down into the black. It's going to naturally shade out so you can see how that naturally happens because I have black on there. Now, right behind, right up here, it's a little bit, I'm just going to go in still with the light because I got a lot of black in here. And I'm just going to tap this in. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to go bring this up with a white pencil. And this areas I might come and bump it again, but I want to claim these whites. And with the light hitting, this is going to be the brightest point of the, and I don't usually put white in right away, but with this piece and being underwater, I am going to claim these because I want this detail to stay. And I think going in and putting the white in is going to help me. And then watch, when I put the white in over the orange, then you get a tint. So you're working with pastel pencils just like you're working with pans. They're all the same medium. You're just working with them in different ways. But you're all, with the colors and everything, you're dealing with the same thing. So I'm going to go and just kind of get this in here. And then this spot right here is almost like a little wing, like a fin that comes out. So we want to bring that out towards us. So I am going to call it out right now, and then I can go back and forth with some pencils. And then I'm going to go up here on the bridge. Right in this spot, I think I'm just going to bring it down a little bit. And that's going to kind of bring this out. Now, we're going to shade a little bit of this, but I'll bring this down to the eye carefully. And then I'm going to bring the bridge down. And then we're going to have a little bit of, I'll use the orange for that. But you can see how it's going to, you know, bring that out even more. So now I can use my orange, which is a 221. And this is where you start, you know, going back and forth. Now, if I was on a 12 by 16, I would have a lot more where I could use my wand instead of this. I'm just going to blend this up. I had a line in there, but and then you can go into the white a little bit, and you can go back and forth a little bit with that. So we're just bumping up here, and we're creating a little bit of a gradient. And then I'll catch up with chat here in just a sec. So I'm just going around and bumping those areas. You can see that I'm still leaving a little bit of the orange on there. I mean the white. And that's fine, but that's just going to start shaping the face a little bit, even though it's... Did I just get 54? All right, we broke the record. Woo, we got to do a little dance. Do, 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 do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, 54, we were there for a minute. So that's all I can take, right? Yeah, I'm not sure, Suzanne. The hardest thing is at first, Mary Artist was like, no further discounts. So it's just the way it is. I bought them that way too. And I even called them, but that's just part of it. We're getting such a good deal already that I'm not too upset about it because we're getting such a good deal. But they are the initial price on there. So you did get a good deal. You just didn't get it with the coupon. So I totally understand, but I didn't use my coupon either because I just didn't know how they were really feeling about it. So I'm going back and forth with the pencil and the orange just to create a gradient. And that is how pencils work, is you're going back and forth just like how we're going back and forth on here. That you're going to create that, you know, value where it's going to be a little bit darker up here. And that kind of blends down slowly. And then you're going to have that shape of that face, you know, start shaping out a little bit. So this is where we want to put most of the detail because of, you know, what's going on there. I'm going to adjust my, there we go. My whites are blowing out just a little bit. And so we just got this initially started. And now behind the ear and all of that, I'm gonna slowly gradient that out. I'm gonna use my, I have the 675, which is the red, French red. And I'm gonna bump this up into here. And I'm gonna put it behind. It's a little bit darker than everything else. It kind of gradients that out a little bit. I'm going to go back with my orange here. I feel like this is super bright, but it is our whitest, so we have to bring everything maybe up to it a little bit more. And you can see how I'm going back and forth, and I'm getting that gradient there. Let's see. Tia Moore, I used PanPastels on the gel plate years ago, applied them. Yeah, they work for mixed media. I didn't see Tia Moore in chat though. Where is she? Oh, maybe someone's talking about it. Oh, here she is. I just have a 20 set. Has anyone ever used them for jelly plate? Yeah, there's a really interesting, I don't know anyone that's pastel using it with the jelly plate as much that I can refer you to, but I'm sure if you search for jelly plate, there's some pretty amazing people out there using it. Okay, so we've got the head kind of called out a little bit there. We got the body kind of going. I'm gonna put in a little bit of color so we can start kind of getting the full vibe of this. I'm just gonna tap this off. I'm at a easel. So all of my, you know, excess will just slough off. So we've got this initial where it's not looking super pretty yet, but what we're going to be doing is starting to do what we did in the head into the body, and it's just going to start popping. So I'm going to put in some of the background so I can get that vibe going here, and so you can kind of see where we're going a little bit here. So I'm going to go pretty bright, and I'm going to do that because of the underwater look and because the seahorse is our main thing right now. So I'm going to wiggle that in here. And I can always bring this up with a white pencil, but I just initially want to get some of this color in. And then I can add a little bit of this permanent green in there. And I can put some white in there. And that's going to pop this up a little bit. And you can see that those black lines are pretty prominent, and that's okay. So I'm mixing directly on a thing with the permanent green and the turquoise. Those are core colors, so you're going to get a really pure mix. And we're just, this is the brightest area, is going to be like around the seahorse. And we will put more light into it as we go. Hi, Lynn. I think your question's a great question. I'm going to be doing a video about the colors because everything's just pre-order right now where you can only order the set. So people that have ordered it, they've ordered the whole set because that's all you can do right now is order the set on pre-order. So that is what we're all doing. I will do a video to show you, but I honestly believe that the best colors to buy are going to be the ones in between the tint and the core color. Red has two of them, which was interesting because I think pinks are so, one's more of a coral and one's more of a pink. Okay, so I'm just going to go around here and kind of get the edges. I'm just loading up the tip here, and I'm using in between both the turquoise and the permanent green. Now when I mix these two, they come to this color of pencil, which is the 545, which is the emerald green light, and we'll be able to bring this pencil in and work with it. So I really love these colors. The other colors I'm going to be using is we have like this 530, which is the emerald green. That is a really beautiful color. These are all in the permanent green families, but this emerald green light doesn't really look like turquoise. It's in between these two. So that's why I kind of like to mix them. Wow, we got 56. We're breaking records here today. I'm going to take a little drink. Cheers to 56. That's awesome. No, it's 58 now. Holy cow. Good morning, Kez. Welcome. Yeah, I'm so glad that new people are here, Karen. I hope you're doing well, Karen. Okay, so we're going to go around. This is going to start taking shape here. And I'm just loading the tip up here and I'm knocking it into the edge of the seahorse. Now, if you pick up some other colors, that's totally fine. Remember our light source is coming in here. And then what we're going to do is to really make some of that blue a little bit more solid. We can just tap in some of this ultramarine blue. And that's going to put another level of turquoise. When you put the permanent green and ultramarine together, you get a beautiful turquoise, really rich turquoise. And that's where we're going to put maybe in the darker areas down here. I got a little bit of black in here already, and I'm okay with that. I'm just going to tap it in. Oop. Well, I already kind of got in there, but we'll get in there a little bit more. And blue and orange are complementary, so that's what really makes this work. And I'm just going around the edges. It allows me to kind of clean up some of this because I have a different color, so I'm just using that tip and getting into those little curves. You can see how some of that black, we're going to be able to put black on top if we want. Or, you know, pull it out. So that's the whole system is pushing and pulling in value. So getting some of those blacks in there are fine. We're okay with mixing that. And we're going to create a really, I can even add a little bit of black into the ultramarine blue and push that back. I still think I want a little bit of, I can do the green shade and the ultramarine blue, and you're going to get that deep turquoise. So a lot of this is just patience. You know, when I paint without you guys and I'm painting alone, you know, I have music on and, you know, it's just a really calming thing for my nervous system, and I just get lost in the process. So, you know, you really want to fall in love with the process. That's what I find is what I've learned over the years is important, is finding a process that works for you, that can get you excited to show up every day. So I also like mixing two colors together like that because it creates this color harmony, and it almost reminds me of watercolor vibe, which I really love. And wherever you're going to touch down first is going to be the strongest. So I will totally understand people are going to probably come in and out of this live because it's going to be a little bit longer of one today. But you never know. We'll see how far we get here. So I'm probably going to want to push these areas darker. So I'm going to leave just the edges that I've got, but at least we're getting it kind of blocked in so we can see where we're going with it. And the light is going to be really reflecting off of this right here, but we're also going to have these darks so it pushes the ocean back a little bit. So if I wanted this ocean to go back a little bit more, I can just wipe off my wand. I tapped in some black, and then I could go in with these two colors, and then that's going to make it even a little bit darker. So you can see how you can go back and forth and get that depth that we might want, that we're after. And a lot of that I can't really predict fully right away. So the first pass is usually just kind of blocking that in and getting your mid-tones, you know, in this area figured out. And if you're, you know, having troubles with that, when this is done, usually people get to see the finished piece to use that as a reference image. And then you can change that to black and white. And that in black and white is going to show you where everything's at on the value scale. So you can check your piece and go, okay, are my values right? Do they match the sample image? Where do I need to pull them out more? You know, maybe I'm hanging around in the mid-tones a little bit much and I'm not, you know, pushing them and pulling them enough. So I'm gonna update the assets file that a lot of you have downloaded already. That so just know that it's going to have all of the things I talk about today. It's going to have the actual reference image in it. I'll do a black and white one in there so you can have that to refer to, but I think that'll be really helpful. So I'm going to go in here with the two and get around the head going here. Just getting these initial colors. I think this first layer is the hardest on the wands. because you're also trying to learn how to get them loaded enough, but not overload it. I came planned today with wands. Okay, so we're almost got the whole thing around here good. So I'm really going in between that turquoise and the permanent green. I'm not putting white in it yet because I don't want that to desaturate my colors yet. You don't want to put white on too early unless you're really sure of where that's going to go. So this is going to go a lot darker in that corner. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to clean this up. Now, I just wanted to show how easy this paper is. Amazing. It just erased right off, so I can just erase things. And then I'm also going to take my darker wand here, and these areas on the edges are going to be a little bit darker, like even right here. We're going to be pulling those darks in. So I have the darker wand. I'm going to put in a little bit. Now I'm thinking of having the, if I got too much black, I just wipe it off and then reload my tool, and then I can go in there and gradient that out. So all these edges are going to go in and be a little bit darker so we can really bring out that the light's going to be coming down here. All right, we might be like really hitting a record here. I almost have 60 people. That's pretty exciting. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of a drink here, and I think at in 15 minutes I'm going to do a little chat about some things. That's my recharge. That's my green drink. I love those green drinks. Okay, Francine says, time for a spot. Well, Deanna says, time for a spot of tea, a scone, or a cookie. Oh, I love that. Let's see here. Well, Kez, I'm glad you made it here today. I know my Aussies. It was Jonas here. Yeah, Kez, I'm glad that you made it here. I know all the Australians are a day ahead. Jonas, I'm so glad you made it. I was just looking through to see if I forgot anyone or missed somebody. Welcome, welcome. Okay, she says, Francine says, I think one of the reasons I fell for PanPastel so quickly is because of how they resemble the feel of working with watercolors. The colors of the water are so dreamy together. Just beautiful, Dawn. Thank you, Francine. I appreciate that. So you guys are going to start seeing this come to life. I'm thinking of getting some of the plants going, but I don't want to go too crazy in there because I could get lost in the plants. So I'm going to go in with, put some black with the ultramarine and the extra dark here. And I'm trying to find like where those plants go in. I might go in with actually a little bit of black because this is dark. Because I like things to punch through a bit. So I'm going to hit this one. And then all back here is going to be dark. So I'll get that. So I'm really loading up. I'm going to twist my PanPastel around here. Almost out of the black. So some of these I want you to, like my orange has been here for 7 years. Some of these colors I've only changed out once. Some of them I've changed out a few times, but this medium, and the cool thing is 7 years can go by and they're as fresh as they were on the first day. They don't go bad. They're an amazing medium. because of that, because I have a lot of paints that have gone bad. So I'm going in here and I'm pushing the darks back of the plants here. I think this will really help bring some of the visualization of everything together. And then we can get the rest of the okay. So you can see that the edges are going to go darker because we don't want the eye to go there. So now I have that put in with the dark, and now I can go bring in this ultramarine with the green, and we can, you know, balance that out. I don't want the green to be as dominant. I mean, the blue is dominant. So I have to be careful because right here, I want light to come in here. So I'm going to wipe off my wand and pull up a little bit right there. And I'm creating a little bit of gradient. So you have to go back and forth a little bit sometimes. All right. I feel like that's coming together quite nicely. It's a little bit of the blue with the, and the cooler the blues, the colors are going to push things back. So you can see that I put black back here, and let's just see if I don't mind leaving the more pure ultramarine in the back. Now, if I wanted to, I could use the ultramarine extra dark, and that would really help me out, but you can see how I've just mixed that directly onto the page. So now we've got our whole thing starting to come together with some color. So now I can kind of pop some of that in here and blend this in. Let's go with this and the green right here. Oh, we have some new people here. Yeah, we've been at 59 a couple times. Temple Moore, oh my gosh, hello Temple. I'm so glad you're here. It's been a long time. We got Jennifer here, welcome. We got Sinho, I ran late. Is there going to be a replay? Oh, of course. All of my lives have replays. I have, I think, almost 100, no, it might be 80 lives that are replays. You can totally watch it replay. Stephanie has a question. Dawn, do you feel like the color change? Do you feel like the colors change with age? I have a couple of the same color, and clearly you can see that, but I don't really feel that way. I don't. I mean, if you take off the top, it should be just fine. So if you feel that way, you know, they're also, you have to remember that they're on different runs. So when colors being mixed, maybe the colors that you bought the first set was one run, and then the second set is another run. There could be some fluctuations. You also have a fluctuation between PanPastel and Golden. I'm sure maybe they're dealing with the same manufacturer, but you just never know. But I've just never really felt that way with the colors changing. Okay, so I'm just, feel like I'm starting to get some color around in here, and we're getting that to come together. And we'll come back to the seahorse shortly, but I think just kind of getting some of these plants in here. And these can be a little bit more abstract out. I'm not like super caught up in the plants becoming perfect. So for the plants, they can be a little mix of two things, but I think I'm going to keep them simplified. And I think I'm going to make the plants be more of this permanent green shade. And then we can push and pull them back and forth. So I'm going to load them and start loading in some of the plants. And I'm not pushing hard because I want the lines to show, because that's where I'm going to come put my highlights back on. But I went a little crazy with the plants. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. But I want you guys to see that I'm going to load my wand at the height of the plant. See? So I'm getting them loaded in here. And then I'm going to bring my colors down. And then I'm not going to load as much. And that's going to create a natural gradient with the paper. So the paper is doing some of the work there, and I can even go around to some of the parts that don't have a lot of color on them yet and blend them in a little bit, and it's going to keep that to be a darker green. So you can see how that's naturally doing that. So I haven't even loaded my wand, and I'm going over, and I want these sections to be a little bit darker. So if I wanted to add a little bit of black in there, I could do that where they touch. And I can blend that out, or I can go the other way and add a brighter edge to it. So it's all about contrast. Wherever I put that color down first, it's going to be the brightest. So we're just going to get, hey guys, we're doing good here. I'm so stoked. Got 61 people. It's been amazing. So I'm just going to go in and get these plants put in. And I think I'm going to make the shells go in with the orange. So you can see I'm not overloading. I'm using the wand, and I'm taking that color and pulling it down a bit. And it's going to start going back and forth, and I can go up here. Now if I had the extra dark, let's see here. I'll show you guys what that's like. So I have the extra dark green. So we almost have a whole family right here. We just don't have the tint. And I can take that extra dark so I don't have to mix, and it's going to be pure, more pure. And when I go in the darker ranges, I don't feel like that's as much of a problem for purity, because you can see the difference. But it's nice just to go in with the extra dark because I'm using a lot of it. So that's what makes my decision of putting something on my palette that I'm going to use or not. This is a curated palette. You don't want to just, when I first started out, I just had all my PanPastels out, and like I do behind me here. And then I would just tap into what I would be using. And that was fine and all, but I like having a curated palette that allows me to work really quickly in between. This is a plastic PanPastel container. I use those to store all my pastels in. I organize them in families, and then I just put lids on them when I'm not using them, which is very rare. I very rarely put my lids on. So I'm just going to use this shade, the extra dark permanent green, I mean, and I'm going to leave this little line on the side because that's going to be a highlight there. But I'm going to kind of map in this kelp. Now the other thing with, you know, this is a guide. We're not doing like a paint by numbers. We're using the structure as a guide, and the guide is just there to help us along the way, and then we can go back and forth and bring things out. So I'm just going to get all of this in here. And if I want some of these spots to go a little bit darker at where they touch, I can do this, or I can even go back later with my shadow pastel pencil and bring those up back and forth, back and forth. So now we're going to go in, and I'm just going to keep my patience, my attention span, and get this shade. Now if you don't have the shade, just go ahead with the green. You can tap a little bit of black into it. You can use the shade. I can show you how I would do that too. Black is really powerful, so you just want to do a little tap. See, I can do the same color. Now if you only have the permanent, this one right here, You just have to put a little bit more black in there. And maybe, you know, rub it in a little bit more and go. This is where you can see how mixing it all would be a little bit tedious back and forth. And that's why we want the whole families, because they do make it a little bit easier. So that is the reason why I'm really digging using the permanent green extra dark. So you can see how the plant life is really starting to come together, and where those highlights are, those little things, I can load the edge of my wand with my permanent green and just kind of hit those. These are closer, so I'll go do the pure. Because the stuff that's happening out here, so if we don't like this, and this is where we're a little bit smaller in size, we can use our colored pencils. They're not colored pencils, they're pastel pencils. But you can do the same thing with a highlight with the pastel pencils. And this is the 530. And it's okay if I go a little bit bright, because if they, I can always use the shadow pencil to tone it down. And so you can see how that's going to start, you know, really shaping up a little bit there. I can go on this one and get a little bit of a rim light on it and get that shape back if I feel like it went down. I think I just want this to be a straight piece. I'm going to erase this. And I want this just to be straight. So you can see how easy it is to make changes. That's the magic of it all. So I'm just hitting the tips of this, and it's also bringing in a little bit of saturation. So you can see that, how that light's starting to hit right there. So with that, I'm going to block in really quick the bottom part, and then what you're going to see is that all of this, you know, time that we're spending, it's going to start coming together, because these parts that we maybe didn't put as much detail on, they are going to fall to the background. So this pencil is the next step down. It's the 590, and it's the Viridian Matte, and it's another step darker, which I'm going to play with that here in this spot. I have this little spot here that's bent over. I'm just kind of outlining a couple of these spots. It is a little bit greener, but I really like it. So you can even, you know, go around on these edges of the edges that separate things. This is a really pretty to be able to hit the edges of the plant, because they kind of curl up when they're kelp. So you can see how that's easily, you know, I didn't know that was going to be like this with this pencil, but I'm really digging it. And I can move things a little bit faster because it's got a great contrast. So you can see working with the pastel pencils, I think that working with both of them really makes this whole process shine. I'm going to go in between with this emerald green. It's the 530, and I'm just going to do these little spots right here. And these can blend in as I go. So I'm just going to let that be bright for right now. And then I have these two little guys right here. And so the pastel pencils, like I said, they will knock off if I touch them with PanPastel. So now I'm going to go in and do the rest of these here. And then once I get this done, then I'm going to take a little tiny break and talk about a couple things. Okay, I'm wiping off my wands. And I'm going to go in here and just use my orange shade. And I'm going to just do the shell. I mean, these are kind of abstract shells. I was just having fun. I was like, that would be cool. We're still at the blocking in stage. Once we get this stage though done, it's like everything starts taking off. So I'm going to do all of these. So I'm applying it separately, so I still get that a little bit of that line to show that there's separation, but it's not perfect. I can clean all that up. And I'm thinking I might do a little, like this is a little blurred one. And then these guys are little baby shells. Okay, and then this is going to allow me, I'm going to put some black right inside this guy a little bit. And then I'm going to start putting that same watercolor. So the green shade with the ultramarine. And I'm going to go and bump up on these. And I might go a little bit more green heavy on these. I want there to be some separation. Oh, my dog's snoring. It's really cute. He's been settling down during the lives. It's kind of nice. So this doesn't have to be perfect right here because this is like a mound that just kind of blends in like that and kind of falls away. So that's totally fine. And then I'm just going to go wherever I hit the strongest is going to be the brightest. So I want those edges to be the brightest. See right here, that's the brightest. But we're not going super bright because this is away from our focal point. And then I can take and kind of blend those down. And I don't really have any more on my wand. And then that's going to go into the black. And that's going to, and you can see how I'm pulling colors off. I'm fine with that. They're harmonizing. Thanks for the hearts. And then I do think I put black in the center there, but I think I would want light to pop through. So I'm going to go with the brighter green here and change that a little bit. Well, actually this was supposed to be like green on top of the shell, not anything going through. So I think I'm just going to go like that. And then I'll tap in the rest of these little black spots. So now, congratulations. We are fully blocked in. So I've had a lot of students be like, oh my gosh, this isn't working the way that I planned. This doesn't look great yet. You know, like they don't block in all the way and just push through the whole piece and trust the process. And I think that can be hard when you're new. So now you're going to see how we've done a little bit of this background part and the sides and the supporting images. And now we're going to work on the I keep wanting to call it a sea dragon, and I know it's a seahorse. I do know, but that's what I want to call it. So I'm going to check up on chat here, and I have some things I want to chat about. Let's see here. Kez says, I'm loving this little seahorse. I've done a few whimsical ones in watercolor, so I'll definitely try this in the in PP. PanPastel. That's awesome. Holly says, I just popped in. I just popped out to sign up or join Dawn's monthly plan. Holly, your comment is perfect. Welcome as a Pastel Insider member. I'm going to take a little moment because I know I'm probably going to be going till like 3:30 or 4 the way it's going right now, and talk a little bit about becoming a Pastel Insider. Now, a Pastel Insider member, you get a full lesson each week, like the one that we're doing today, and except they're not all live. I'm recording them. I do one live stream that week that you can pop in and get a peek and see a little bit of the process of what we're working on for the week. But you get a full lesson each week, and sometimes I take a week off per month, every once in a while to recharge and all of that, come up with great new content for you. But the coolest thing is you also get free access to all of my online classes, past, present, and future. And I have just put together a brand new Getting Started guide that you will get access to. There's a welcome video in there now. There's a Getting Started guide that talks about all of the most asked questions about becoming a Pastel Insider member. It's only $19.99 a month. You can cancel anytime, and you get full access to everything on my website. So I'm going to put the link in here, and you can check that out if you have time or if you're interested. And oh wait, it's not pasting, so just a second. But it's a great way to just really go and try out the medium and get a real idea of how it works and get a good peek into my creative process. Just a second here. Everything is deciding to freeze up. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to pin that. And when that pops up here, now, the other thing with the Pastel Insider, so I have that new guide that talks about all my favorite pastel pencils, all the colors that I suggest to getting started. I do 3 different kind of levels, like if you're a beginner on a budget, what do you need to get started? I guide you to what lessons to get started with, what you should try to do if you've never done it before. It is your roadmap to PanPastel and pastel, soft pastel in general. And right now, I think I have over 40 lessons available to you for that monthly price. So I hope you guys will check it out. I've really been trying to build this new community and everything. And I just love being able to tie YouTube into it. And it's just been a great experience. So I know a lot of you in chat are Pastel Insider members or have been members. And I just really want to thank you guys all for your support there also. It has been a journey, and I'm constantly, coming up with new things. Like right now, I just did the Getting Started guide, the welcome video, because all of this kind of evolves slowly. So it's just getting better and better. And I've just been really thrilled to be able to have this offer for all of you guys. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Temple Moore, for your congrats. Let's see. Yeah, actually, Holly, I started out on watercolor. Yeah, it's all about the paper. The UArt paper can take water medium. The ivory, I have a watercolor, quite a few lessons that do the mixed media with the watercolor. So it's my first love was watercolor, but now with PanPastel and soft pastel, it's kind of beating everything out. I've never stuck with one medium this long. I don't think I'm going anywhere, but it just ticks all my boxes, and I just find it to have unlimited possibilities, and that's what really excites me about it. Plus, I'm going in with the viewpoint of a mixed media background. So a lot of things I've done in mixed media, I try to do with PanPastel, like incorporate stencils. I do a lot of lessons there. I do a lot of black PanPastel, and you can even go through my YouTube feed, and since I've been live streaming for a year, yeah, you know you're going to at least have a big handful of things, some content to look in for those too. All right, I'm going to grab a drink really quick, and we are going to take this up to the next level, and I'll be right there. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Oh, thank you, Francine. I appreciate that. Thank you, Stephanie. I'm glad you guys all think the Pastel Insider is a great value. I love the central bright lighting. Well, we're going to keep working on that lighting. Here we go. Are you ready? Because we are going to bring that up even more, Jennifer. So I'm excited to work on that. Thank you for the congrats, Temple. I'm so glad to see you. I know it's been a while, but you have been here since the beginning, and it's just really great to see you today. So I hope you're doing well. And let's see. I agreed that to create strong contrast, the dark should be darker against the lighter side of it. So true, Jonas. So true. I know, Deanna. I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for PanPastel. I have a connection that I'm hoping to reach out and just kind of say, here I am. Maybe something. I don't know what'll happen, you know, because I buy everything I need. So we'll see. But I would love to do some giveaways. I love promoting their products, so it's pretty easy for me to do. Thank you, Jonas. I'm so glad that you like it. Okay, so we're going to go in here with this next level. I think just really soaking this in and just seeing where it's at. A lot of people would like think that they're finished right now, and we're not. We got a little ways to go here. So I'm going to start bringing out the light. I think it's one of the most fun parts. Getting up to this level is kind of the work, you know, to drop, like I drop all my images and then I'm transferring them. And then when you get the line art, so when you get that line art and you're transferring it and then you're supporting it with your black carbon pencil, that takes a lot of time. And I break these up usually into sessions. I would definitely take probably, 3 breaks in between a pastel painting. And then I love having it sit overnight to have that happen, because then I can look through my camera and check and see, hey, how is everything? Is it looking good? Do I need to make any changes? So doing that can really help. And so when I'm teaching my lessons and everything, I'm teaching those and recording them over a few days a lot of times. So this is a rare occasion to try to push through and do one live, but we're celebrating because it's a year and I can do hard things. No, it's not that hard at all. But okay, so I'm going to take my orange, and I could even use my pencils here too, but I'm going to take the orange and just start bringing out some of this light right here. And if I want to make that into a tint, I can tap that into the tint. Now, when I do that, what happens is it will desaturate it a bit. And that's okay, because I can go back and forth. And I'm trying to also bury that black line a little bit, because that's where the light's hitting. So you're not going to see a shadow of black right there. So that's where this pencil starts. You start being more of the creator. And this is just a structure that we're going to break down, and the structures helped us get here. So now I can go in and start bringing out the values here. Now, when we're going through the seahorse, underneath of these parts are a little bit darker, and then on the edge, on the outside, is a little bit brighter. So I'm going to show one of those. So this edge is going to be brought up a little bit lighter. And then this edge is going to be brighter. Now I bumped it right there, but I can just go and tap in a little bit of the shadow, shade, or the shade. And you can go back and forth. And that's going to start giving that little divot look. But see how this is brighter right there, and that's bright. So you got two edges there. So that's what I'm kind of working on. And it's hard to remember a little bit because we're also dealing with light source. So I would say this light source, I'm going to bring it up to where it's going to go to. And I don't have all the detail there, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm fine if it's burying some of the detail there. It doesn't need to be perfect, guys. Like this, all the little details in here were meant to, you know, I knew there would be a lot of detail, but then I was also kind of like, I want to have the seahorse to have some shape. So I've got the brighter side on this side, right here. And then I'm going to go down to the corner and wiggle in some of that white and see how it's stuck there. And then I can wipe off my wand. And I can even put in a little bit of this orange and wiggle that on up, see? And I can pop some of that more saturation in there. So we're going to be able to, you know, get some of that going. And then we can also do it with the pastel pencils. But like, let's say if I wanted to bring up this edge so I have my white, just like I did on the face, this would allow me to keep more details. So if you like those details, I can bring some of those up, and then I could go on these edges and then go on the top edges here. And that's where that pencil kind of peeks through, but I can fix that. And then I can use my orange pencil, which is the 221. And go back and forth, and then I can bring more saturation into this area, and I can go back and forth with my white pencil and the 221, making the white go on this side of it more. And this is where the tooth will start to fill up a bit. So this spot's pretty full. Not totally full, but it's full. But you can see how we're bringing that light up slowly. So I can get a little looser with it as we go. I just really wanted this spot to be the brightest. And then I can clean up these edges by using my emerald green, the 545. And I can just go and clean these up. And bury that black line. And so PanPastel ends up becoming kind of an underpainting in a lot of ways, because I can just clean that really. This is a really strong edge right here, but you can see if you look up on this seahorse, there's a black line around, and I want that to go away on all the parts where the light's really hitting strongly right there. So let's see. I hate to leave, y'all. Oh, Deanna's leaving. All right, you take care, Deanna. I love this community and feel so blessed to have been a part over this past year. Here's to another year of creative endeavors. Thank you, Deanna. Woo woo. You have been a great part of this community. I'm so glad that you're here, showing up. That's awesome. I'm glad that you're here, but I totally understand you got to go. It's a long live today, so I get it. So I'm just going to go back in, and I can go down a little bit because I'm thinking I want that brightness. And then I can go with a darker pencil, maybe put my, this emerald green, the 530, up against this now as it gets darker in there. And I'll be able to bump PanPastel up against this. but I can get rid of that black line. And we are working a bit smaller than I normally do because there's just no way I was going to be able to finish a 12 by 16. But you can see how I just bumped it with my finger and blended it out. And it has that kind of glow to it. So I can wipe my finger off. And I like to bump down my pastel pencils. And now I can show you around the face. We'll just kind of get that light in and I'll work on that too. So I'm going to go around the head here with this bright emerald green light. This is the 545. And I'm going to bring that black line and take that away, since this is where our light is hitting the most. And this I'm just finding is the easier way. So I suggest everyone to really get the Carbothello 48-piece set of pastel pencils first. I think it's a great core set. That's what I'm using today. That's the only pencil I'm using today. And you can see how we're bringing out that face. Now I can go take the white and I can go a little bit more onto the edges here. And then what you're going to see is it's going to start really hitting the light and getting rid of that black line, so it doesn't look like, you know, you're coloring in there. I mean, we don't want that to look like an outlined thing. So see how that's brought those two planes kind of together right there. So you're not as, you don't have it be where it's a really thick outline. So I can sharpen this pencil. I love my Mobius M&R brass sharpener. I just got a new blade in it today. Let's see, what did Jennifer say? Dawn, don't put down doing hard things. Starting a YouTube channel. Did I put it down? I didn't know I did that. I'm sorry. Starting a YouTube channel, posting consistently, and building a supportive community are hard things. And you are doing it brilliantly. I was thinking I said I can do hard things, but I don't know what I said to put it down. But I love your attitude, Jennifer. You've been a great part of this community. And I do say all the time that I can do hard things. And I don't think I would have gotten through this live streaming because it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But it's been the most fulfilling that I've done. And I've just really appreciated all the people that I've met along the way. It's just been amazing. Let's see. Agree, Jennifer, and the amount of content each month is way above other teaching platforms. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Sometimes I feel like I'm over-delivering a little bit, but I think that's just who I am. You know what I've learned? I'm 52, just turned 52, and you learn a lot about yourself, and sometimes you just got to accept certain things. And I think in the beginning, though, you have to work a little harder to make things work. And just the fact that I have so many of you that are Pastel Insider members has just really been a huge win for me, just to know that I have you guys there and you're interested and you're enjoying the content. So there's more content coming. I'm pretty excited. I just have all these ideas, so I just really love it. So you can see how I'm slowly kind of bringing that gap of that black line away, and then I'm going to do a little bit of that under the chin. And so I think under the chin I would rather have a glow, so I'm going to go with the orange 221, and I got to bring that line down. So all of this work that we've done to get ourselves here, this is where it all starts paying off, because when we've put that mid-tone in, now whatever we play off of, we're pushing and pulling back and forth. And that's where I love to dance. I really enjoy that part. It's a lot of fun to me. So I've built this into my process, and it does take a while to get there, but I've tried a lot of different things, and this for me has just really worked. So you kind of have to find your jam and take what you love and discard what you don't, you know, like. So we're going to have a little glow underneath his chin there. And then I'll blend this up, and then there's a little glow on a rim here on his little face. I want this to blend in, and I don't want to have to put more pencil down, so I'm just pushing it in. I'm pushing and blending right there because I think that looks really good. I like that. I don't know, there's a lot of fuss about not touching your paper and with your finger, but I wash my hands really good before I get started. And I know you're trying to avoid getting oils or whatever, but I'm not too concerned about that. Okay, so our face is coming together quite nicely. I'm going to take the white here, and I'm just going to hit, you know, it doesn't have to be a full mouth or anything, so I'm just going to, you know what, I think I'm just going to use the orange. Yeah. There we go. So you can see how I can clean up things. And the contrast is really going to bring things out. And I'm still layering. Like, I would not be able to do this many layers on Clairefontaine pastel matte as much as aggressive as I'm doing. It just doesn't take layers as thought out. You know, you have to really think out things with the Clairefontaine. And so you can see how it's starting to glow a little bit. So right here where the neck is, I really want to put some glow into here. And then I'm going to read some of the chat because I know you guys are chatting away. And I'm going to put some of that just in here. Because this is the brighter area here. And I can go back and forth with these pencils with the emerald green light and the white. And that's how you work with the pencils. You got to go back and forth just like you have to do with the PanPastels. So that allows us to get that detail in there. Now you can see right here is a really good example. Right here is a really cute, really cool value change right here that I love. Now I can bring that out a little bit by adding some just even white on my my tool and a little bit of the orange. And I'm looking at my monitor and I can see it. You know, I really like how that's looking. Oh, I had a little bit of green on my finger. So I can just bring in a little bit of the orange to this way. And then I can go back and forth with the and that's going to bring that out. Okay, let me catch up on chat. Thank you. Oh, Helene's here. Hi, Helene. Welcome. Adrian agrees with Jennifer. So does Luis. Temple. Yes, Luis and Dawn. It's so good at modeling a healthy, balanced artist mindset while sharing so much valuable info and skills. Thank you, Temple. Pam says she's learned so much watching Dawn. I've been so inspired to get back into art. I'm grateful to be a part of this community and learn a lot from you too. Oh, thank you, Pam. Chris says, hi, Dawn. Wow, I just got to the live. Well, welcome, Chris. I'm so glad you're here. The replay will be there so you can watch it again. My fingers are my best tools, right? I know. And, you know, you got to use them. You got to do. Okay, so Holly's taken off, but thank you, Holly. So glad that you made it here today. Debbie says it's beautiful. Thank you so much. Well, I look forward to seeing you next week, Holly, too. Okay, so we're gonna keep going. We're making good headway. You guys are seeing that it's coming through, and I think once I get these little details done, I'll be able to go into the pan pastels more. I just want to get these light details going, and then I'll be able to put light in the water. So I'm removing that black line and just starting to get this light going in. So I got a lot of black line in this spot. I'm thinking that there's going to be a little bit of rim light coming down the back. I can go over it with the orange pencil, but I'm not going to go crazy. I'm just going to do a little bit right here. And then I'm going to go into my pencil here, my orange 221. I actually think right here I need to push this in a little bit more. So I'm going to use that light emerald green. There we go. This is what I was trying to get. So just a heads up, my son will be coming home at 3:20 and my dog might bark. So if any of you guys are startled by those types of things, I have given you fair warning that, and I also haven't put a sign up. I forgot to put a sign up. He might try to come upstairs and say hi to me. So just a heads up. He's a junior in high school. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the back of the seahorse and clean up those and push in. Oh, I kind of went over there, but I can clean that up. So I'm finding this pencil to be really a lot easier, and plus I'm able to get in there with some detail and then kind of make the seahorse glow more, which I think is pretty fun. So you're going to start seeing it round out here a little bit more and more. So I'm going to pop in a little bit of this orange shade right here underneath. And I'm going to hit a little bit of black in there. Okay, so I'm going to use orange, and I'm just going to go in and bring up some of this, just a little bit. And I need to get a better wand. And then I'm going to go from here. So once I get a little bit of this off my wand, then I'm going to go into the little shape here on the edge that's away from the highlight. So it's starting to kind of come together here, because those lines doesn't have to be perfect. So I can hit some of the white on here, or I can just go into pencil mode again. So right here, use some of the shade. And what we're doing is we're trying to bring the values up and down a little bit, because they're a little too deep and they're going into the seahorse skin. So I'm using the shade and I'm just trying to find that happy medium. So right on the bottoms of them, I'm like, here's the corners. If we tap the corners ahead of time, then it might help us remember that that's going to be the brighter corner. So I can now go and work with it, maybe a couple at a time, because then our wand is in the spot where, you know, we can have that shadow in there. Okay. Use some of the orange, and I'm going to tap into the white here. And just over some of these. Well, I think this is going to be my first full length video on YouTube. So that's a little deep there, so I'm pulling this up. I want behind that little thing to be dark, but it doesn't need to be, you know, black. And then I can keep pulling these up a bit. So I'm also going to show the pencils just in case if that feels a little bit more comfortable to you. Let me see who's in the house here. Do we have any more questions? I'm excited. I ordered the new PanPastels from Mary Artist. Awesome, Chris. That's so exciting. Well, we're just waiting for them to ship. I'm an enabler, I know. So I'm going to use my orange, and we're going to use this center line as our brightest line, and then it's going to go darker. So it's going to round this out a little bit. And I can show you how we can use these pencils in combination with the PanPastel to get some of these details. So, you know, it just takes a little bit of layering. I would say that down here, we're about here is where it starts getting pretty dark. And then right here is where it lightens back up again. So I just find that you can use both, but they get a little bit, you know, challenging going back and forth with them. So I do like to use as much PanPastel as I can, because then I get really tight with my work. So there's a question to ask yourself, you know, do you like being tight with your work, or do you like being a little looser with your work? So you can see why that would motivate me to go, okay, I think I'd rather be maybe a little bit looser with my work and play with this whole idea and take the time. You can do both. It's just the way I have these guys, I'm going to use this center line as where the light starts to shift. Okay, I'm wiping off my wand. Just going to be a little bit more in shadow. And I'm going to bring up these little shadow areas just a little bit. I'm going to go brighter on these little edges here. I'm going to hit some white on these edges. That's really pretty. So you can see how I'm touching where it needs to be brightest first. And then I'm pulling them in, and then those black lines just do the work for me. And so now I can either, you know, use the tip of this with a little bit of white, and I can go behind, or I can just use the pencil since that's kind of working for us right now with what we're doing around the seahorse. So where those lights are, we're trying to bury that line a little bit. My chat is going here. Let's see. I struggle with getting looser with my work. I keep tightening it up and doing more realistic paintings. Any advice? Use the wand. Yeah. If you want to get looser, that's why I'm using the wand, because I wanted to get looser with my work. So the bigger the paintbrush, the looser you're going to be. And that's what I learned when I was painting with acrylics, is they kept saying, you know, you want to go a little bit bigger on your brush. So finding the happy medium of what size to work on can really make a difference in your work too. So for me, I went from doing 9x12s. That was my favorite size, and then 12x16s are now my favorite size, and that can make a huge difference, is like what size you're working on. So during most of my lessons that I'm teaching in the Pastel and Cider and on here, I'm doing 12x16s. So this is the smallest one I've worked on because there was just no way I was going to finish a bigger piece. There's just no way. So, and I'm even going to be struggling getting it to the spot that I love. And I think that's why I'm working through, and I knew I would need a lot of wands today because I'm working faster. So normally in a class setting in one of my lessons, I'm not working this fast. So this is a lot faster. I would say a painting, a full pastel painting, takes between 4 to 6 hours to sometimes 8, you know, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you want to have multiple sittings. You don't want to necessarily do this all in one sitting. And so, yeah. So I don't blow off in my studio. I see there's some sediment, you know, really kind of building up, but you can see how it's starting to take form. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to tap this off. Boy, we've consistently had people in the 60s here. This is great. I love breaking records. So right here is a little dark, so I'm going to bring this up a bit. I'm just going to solid this out. I think I had it with some type of pattern on there, and I don't have to go by all of them. And then I'm going to use the shade, and I'm just going to try to get some of this underneath a little bit cleaner. I think I'm just going to fill in those little spots. I'm okay if there are little divots there, but I'm not going to go as extreme as it was. And those are things that you just don't know until you get in there. And then on this side, we got a little bit brighter. So I'm going to even just loosen up, and whatever's there, go with it, because you don't know how much detail you really need. So this is a great example of loosening up. So that line is really hitting where we don't want to go past the line. That's our bright, and that's our light. So even though I have more detail in here, I don't necessarily have to conform to that, because those black lines will massage into the piece as the layering goes, and we will have, you know, some diversity there. So if you want to be, you know, if you find that you want it to be more tighter, then use pastel pencils and go over all those details. But I find the more I do loosen up and let some of those details go, the more I'm liking my work, if that makes sense. I want my work to be a little bit more painterly, you know, like The big detail is up here in the focal point. This isn't the focal point. And if for those of you that are new that don't understand where really a focal point is, when we divide up a piece into thirds, you're going to get 4 focal point options. And this is up in this top third. This is where we're putting a lot of our energy, and then right here is our main focal point. So you can see how I'm loosening up there, and I'm able to get, you know, because I'm on my next layer. So now I'm putting the light in more, and I get to be a little bit looser. I do start jumping around because I start seeing things. Not like things that you can't see. I'm just seeing, I'm not like seeing things like, that's funny, that sounded kind of funny. I start seeing things. So I'm going in and just cleaning up some of these spots. And you can see how I'm not going too crazy in them because I want some of that shadow to be there. But I'm also trying to bring up the shadow a little bit. So I've wiped off my wand. I don't have any new pastel on it. And I'm just going over to clean up these spots and to kind of blend them in a little bit. And I'm working with the pastel that's already on there. So now I can even go back with like a darker wand and say that I've pulled things up a little bit. I can prime a wand. So you prime it up with the black, then you wipe the black off, and now it's primed where I'll just tap it, maybe wipe it, and now I can go in with that wand and I can put some darks in. And kind of put some shadow in this area again, if I felt like I brought it up too bright. I'll wipe it off. Kind of breaking it up so it still looks like there's pattern there. I can even go into these little shadow parts and pop these out a little bit more. It's all depending what you want to do. I feel like I got too much on, I can wipe it off and then just go in and blend. So I do feel like I want this area right here to be a little darker, so that's kind of what I'm shooting for. Trying to find a happy medium. And I think what we need to do is work on the lighting in the water too. So right behind here, I brought this up quite a bit. I'm going to darken it. But you see how we're working with the PanPastel family. Darks are pushing it to an extra dark. But I'm able to work with value, and that family works with value. So I can bring out some of these spots, and I'm going back and forth. There's nothing that's just like, I'm not the type of painter that just sits down and voila, we don't have a dance or anything. That just doesn't happen. So I'm putting a little bit of dark in, just tapping my little tip of my wand here. And I'm going to make this spot a little bit darker. I'm going to the edge. I feel like I've muddied that a little bit, but it'll be fine. There we go. And I can even take my pencil in this spot. I want this to actually go in. So see how you get to start taking over, even though we use line art. You know, we could all start with the same line art and it's going to be something different. Did I just get a super chat? Oh my gosh, I gotta catch back up. Wow, Karen, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Karen. Happy 1-year anniversary. Your live demonstrations are the highlight of my every week. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. Sending you a big hug. That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to catch up with a little bit. Let's see that I missed a few people. Okay. I think that has been a game changer. Oh, I think I said goodbye to, I don't know if I said goodbye to Debbie. I hope you have a great day, Debbie. Thanks for coming. Thanks for all your kind words. It has been a fun year. The 16 by 20 still scares me, says Francine. Yeah, you know, I do a lot of my 16 by 20s. I do those in black PanPastel. I just finished an 18 by 24, and I'm really excited about that. I want you guys to stand back. It's starting to look glowy. We're starting to get some 3D action going. I'm looking through the camera, and it's starting to kind of really come together, so I'm really excited about that part. Suzanne, let's see. Sorry, Dawn, I need to run. I'll catch the rest in the replay. All right, take care, Laura. Wow, I didn't realize it was that behind. Karen likes loose work. Michelle's ordered the set. Me too, but Dawn's 30-minute challenge has helped me heaps. Just getting in and doing with it without worrying and finishing has really helped. I'm so glad you've enjoyed that, Louise. You and Suzanne Thames has been rocking the 30-minute challenge. That's just for black PanPastel. It keeps it really simple. You're not trying to make anything like this. It's just a loosening up challenge. I agree with Luis about the 30-minute challenge and switching to 16 by 20. I have to get the basics on quickly so I can get the values in. Yeah, for that black PanPastel, it's really great. Take care, Debbie. I freak out about a timed painting, but it really does improve my work. Yeah, and the black and white challenge, I did that 2 weeks ago in live. So if you go back 2 weeks, it's before the horse. The whole challenge is in there, and you can check that out. And it's just black PanPastel, and it's just meant for play. Nothing's meant to be framed or finished or anything like that. It's just a loosening up technique. So definitely check out that video. Let's see. All right, 67. What's going on? Are we breaking records right and left? That's awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. The seahorse is coming together. Dawn, Francine says, Dawn, I love the idea of taking my time and coming back to it again and again. It's the layers thing again. It's so true. Like, I really feel like I'm just kind of getting started on this one. But you're going to see it's just going to keep developing. And right now I'm just pushing and pulling my values. So I'm tapping into a little bit of black here. And I want this part maybe back here to be a little bit darker. So I can do that because I'm lightly going on with the black. When it gets too, muddy, I just rinse off or wipe off my tool. And I can start making the contrast be a little bit more dramatic here by putting in a few darks. Now, because I'm putting black in now, I'm doing black second, you get to have more control over your darks and lights. So right here where that fin is, I really want it to be the darkest. And I can I don't know why I pushed that in there right there. I thought that was a square. I think it is. I just think I've got to blend it instead of. So now you can see how I'm blending the black and we're going back and forth here a little bit. It's all a dance. So, you have to go, well, do I like the dance? And I like the layering dance. And I usually take a photo in most of my classes and go back and show you. I did it in my last one with a horse. I show you guys, what that layering did and how it really changed the whole piece. So I'm going to go a little bit darker with these guys. So now we're starting to get that 3D dimension. I can just look through my camera and go, okay, These are still a little too bright. So I can work on that. And then we're going to start playing with that water here. Okay. So I would say right underneath the belly here, I want to push this back just a little. And just on this corner right here. And then this was our center. So you can see how we've got that shadow going, and I can keep fussing with that and kind of bringing those lines together so they're not so unnatural. Like I'm taking that time, and if you've noticed, I haven't put any pastel on my wand, and I'm working with what I have, and you kind of learn what value you have on your wand and how you can play with that. Okay, so I'm going to put another pop on this seashell here. Just on the edge. Okay, and then I'm going to start playing with the light in the background. So, and then we can pull up some details too. I do have this, it's 215. It's called an Indian yellow. I want to see if this will give me a little bit of a different orange glow here. I think it's about the same. It's not that much different. I thought it would be like, I guess if I would bring in anything to kind of give more of a glow, it would be the red. Now I'm gonna just show you what something like this can go in and just get a little bit of pop of glow here. Now this is still orange, you know, it's still, we're in orange red, it's a 305, and I can get a little bit of this in here. I know I said I was gonna do something else, but I want to do this. And I can and then what you do is then you take I have this Indian orange, which is a 215, and I can go over it, and that's going to give you almost like what I do in the noses on skin. It's going to kind of give it a little bit of a glow. And so you're mixing with the pastel pencils on the piece, and that's kind of exactly what they're going to do if you were using pastel pencils, just like colored pencils. You got a layer to kind of get those to go. So I can do a little bit of that even right here. This is the focal point. And I think this 310 is called a carmine red, and this is on the orange side. So I got that in there, and then I'm using the Indian yellow, and we're going to put this in a little bit, and you're going to start getting that kind of glow vibe, like the water's hitting it, the sun. And you can see how now we got a little bit of that color in there, and it's taking that orange, which was kind of flat, and it's giving it a little bit of life there. So I'm just taking this pencil and I'm shaving down a little bit of the black lines that are a little bit strong. And then I think I'm digging that, so I'm going to bring that down here a little bit in this maybe center part. And so you're like, the whole time you're going, oh, you know, it's a little bit, you know, I'm going into the orange now. This one's a little bit darker. But you can still get that rainbow pop by bringing these other colors in. And what you're doing is you're bringing saturation in. And that's what I've been talking about with the new PanPastel colors, is you get this where you can bring more color in as you go. So you're not having to fully, you know, do all those colors on that layer. And I can even use this burnt, this is 675. I have it behind my thing here. So this is the red ochre, and I can put a little bit of this in there too. It's a little bit of a darker pencil. Let's see what I think about that. I'm trying to blur that out just a hair. Yeah, you almost get a little bit of that, which I kind of like that. And all these colors really work well together. Okay. Scottish Sheep says, I love your art. Thank you so much, Scottish Sheep. First time in chat. Welcome. Where are you chatting from? Michelle says 67. Oh, we were almost at 70 there. We almost did it. Thanks again, Karen, for your super chat. You've got a great dimension. Okay, I've already said that. Thank you, Stephanie. Karen loves that carmine red. Susan loves the red. Michelle loves the red. Yeah, you can see how that I can push that and play with that even some more. I can put some of that red, you know, just throughout the piece and some of these spots that are darker. And it's going to bring some interest into the whole thing. And it's just a touch, you know, I'm not going really heavy with this pencil. I do kind of feel like I want to go over it with something, you know, and I can put this red in some of these darker spots all throughout. Just kind of intermingle it in there, and it's going to blend in. I can just tap it down a hair. I don't even have to put another color over it. So you can see I'm going to put a little bit of that down here. I think I'll hit the lower end here. And you guys are going to be like, Dawn, step away from the red. But I'm really digging what it's doing. So why stop? I'm going to go in here with a little bit of it. So you can see how these were, you know, close on the color wheel. So that really works when you kind of gradient out a little bit and kind of play with that and push and pull of the whole thing. So I'm going to go in and play with a little bit of the light here, see what I can do. I'm going to bring in some of this turquoise with the green and maybe hit a little bit of white just around the nose. So that's going to bump whatever I did with my pastel pencil, and that's fine. I'll come back and forth, and I can even hit my finger, and that will work for those. So I'm going to bring that. So there's different ways you can do the light. We can put, you know, light throughout with doing rays by loading our wand here and do light rays. But I think I'm going to just do a glow, because when I start doing light rays, it really starts hitting a whole nother level of difficulty, and I want this to be more of a beginner approach. So I'm just going to go in with my light glow and bring in that saturation by using the turquoise and that permanent green. I have a little bit of a heavy application in this spot because I really want this to and so we're just working on bringing that out a little bit. Now, I got to get this back here too done. Thank you, Pam. Well, Chris, I think the challenge is that's just for the black PanPastel technique that I do. And it might loosen you up a little bit. There's nothing wrong with your painting taking a week and going back and touching it and going. The full color work is a whole different ball game. I just, you know, I'll show you guys this. I'm finishing this up for the auction. I've redone it. Laura has seen it a ton. This piece that I've done, I've worked on this many, many times, and I think you might be able to see a little bit of it. Yeah, this piece, and I have redone the face 3 times. And if I sat there and, you know, gave myself a limit to say I don't want to tweak it, then I don't think my style would be what it is. I meant to share with you guys this piece. This is what we did last week. This is the chiaroscuro. It's Italian for light and shadow. This was a lesson for the pastel insiders. That was the finished piece. But, you know, if I don't tweak and play with those things, then I wouldn't be where I am. So with the black PanPastel, I think it just lets you explore being loose with that whole technique. So I would definitely go watch that live. It's 2 weeks ago, and check that out. FYI, I took a peek at the Merry Artists. They have individual pans of the new colors. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. You need a rep at Golden to get your stuff in advance. Yeah, I have a person at Golden I want to reach out to, but I just haven't yet. I got a name, and I'm going to go check that out. So I'm going to use my pencil in here to kind of, you know, get some light going on. And then I want this glow to be above the head. I'm going to keep it just around the seahorse because we're going to keep this pretty simple, because if I go any more difficult, we're going to be here for a long time. And I don't think all of you guys will want to stay overnight. I mean, you never know. So that glow is starting to hit here. It's starting to really come out. And I think I might want to take a little bit of a warm yellow. This is a 210. It's called orange yellow, so it really works with the family. And I want to just pop this here in the chest. I just want to see how I feel about it. Well, it doesn't really show on camera. It's okay. I'm going to put a little bit of it in here. I think it's just pulling it up with the white. I got to sharpen my white and get those values to pop here. So it's starting to fill the tooth here. So I'll have to be a little bit more aggressive with this spot and then not touch it. Same with right here. I really want this to look like there's light hitting, and then we have a little rim light here. There we go. little bit. Maybe I'll get that orange. So this is the orange, the 221. I don't know why that turned into a box, but I'm going to shape these into more of a circle by just using my emerald green light. So this is the 545, and then I can push this out. I like my energy lines. If that's not your jam, then you know you don't have to put anything in that's not your jam. I can tap them down. So you can see how I'm cleaning up that contrast. Okay, so I'm going to bring this a little bit darker right here behind the thing. I think I went a little light, and I can go a little bit darker, and I'm going to put in my these two, the ultramarine and the permanent green dark, and I'm going to hit that. And we're going to come up here and knock this back just a hair right here. And I'm okay if some of that sticks around on the edges because it just looks like it's a glow light here. Just some of that blue. It's going to bring some saturation in. Wow, you guys are doing great sticking with me almost this whole time. I'm pretty impressed. I thought, oh, there's only going to be like, you know, 10 people after 3:30. But you guys are awesome. I'm going to bring in some blues, kind of play with this transition here, going back and forth because I want it to look more glowy in the front. I don't always have everything all planned out, like I've said, so I'll go back and forth with some things. And that's okay because that's the flexibility of the medium. That's what I love about it. That's what I'm promoting to you guys, is that you get to make changes. You get to do things, you know, go back and forth and do different things that other mediums wouldn't let you do. And that is really, so this is rare, but I have a window with no screen in it for my studio to blow things off. And I'm going to blow this off. So I don't blow in my studio. So I have to crank my little window open. It's a big window. And then I made put these windows in my studio just so I can do that. I got to lock it all back up. Okay. Let me get this centered back in, and that's going to clean that up. All right. So you can see how also the thing that I love is that I didn't do a lot of fussing with the greenery. And that is a good thing. I'm using my pastel pencil to go over this spot because I want it to be dark. And that just shows you how much you don't really need to put a lot of detail into these surrounding images, because they will work themselves out, and you will find that you don't need to have all that work in there. And I find that kind of powerful and empowering. You know, it's like, oh, I'm fussing over all of these details when they're actually kind of disappearing. So I'm going to go in here and maybe put a little bit of a rim light down here. Let me sharpen my pencil. This is my longest live stream yet. I wonder wonder how many people will watch this replay. Well, at least it'll be a full one, you know, like. And I just knock that down a little bit. This spot I'm cleaning up. I'm envious that you can open your window today. We are in deep freeze. I know, right? Oh, Michelle's leaving. All right, take care, Michelle. So glad that you were here. I'm having a niece and my mom coming for a cuppa. Well, have a great time with your family, Michelle. Thanks for cheering everyone on to like the video. Jennifer says, what were you saying? What is the paper called that you put between your pieces when you stack or send them? It is called glassine. Oh, they already said it. Well, thanks, everyone. Oh, good. I'm glad you're liking the lines. Thank you, Michelle. The seahorse is beautiful. I've just drawn it up onto the UArt. Guess what I'm doing this afternoon? Rewatching and arting. Well, I appreciate it. Hey, any help to get my YouTube thing seen, it always helps me out. And I really appreciate that. So I'm going to go and just put this highlight on the rim light on these and see if I like that. It's hard because that's the thing with light. You're trying to get that rim lighting, and then I got the front here that I need to bring out a little bit more. This is all the fun stuff, you know. I just find this a lot of fun. So this is that 221. And I'm just trying to bring up this light a little bit, and I'll probably hit it with another color too. And I'm trying to knock that black line back. This live is probably getting me to loosen up. And always can put more saturation into your work, you know, like this really does that too. And I'm finding sometimes just bumping things off with my finger will bump it down just enough. And then I can sharpen my pencil here. Now, if I was bigger, I would be doing a lot of this with my pastel wand, the PanPastel. Okay, so right in here, I'm going to go in. I think I'm just going to push this up. Okay, and I'm going to go in with a little bit lighter. I'm going to try actually, well, I'm going to use the white, but I got to be real gentle with it. Because if that light's coming down from the top, you're going to have some of that hitting on these top areas. Wow, guys, you are troopers hanging out with me for all this time today. For the full lesson, you get the full meal deal here today. Okay, so I'm going to go up here. So I've definitely loosened up this bottom part. And so now you're getting that full light in there. I want to bring a little bit more white in here. And then I'm going to push that with a little bit of the yellow, that orange yellow, that 210. So when you put white down, you can put any color over it, guys. So don't feel like you are stuck with white. Like, that's how you bring up values with the pencils. That's, you know, the pencils aren't meant just to be brought down in just one take. They're meant to be layered on. Okay, so let's see here. The seahorse. Okay, we did that one. Here comes the dimension with the pencils. It's the pencil throwdown. The one person that's not here, Stacy, I miss her. She's been here for a lot of the lives for the whole year, and she would always talk about the pencil throwdown. So Stacy, if you're watching this, sending you a shout out. You said, "Thank you, Temple. You know exactly what that's about." Thank you so much. Susan says, "It's amazing to watch you paint because you make this look so easy." Well, remember, I have over 7,000 of hours of painting. I've been doing this for over 7 years, and I've been consistently showing up. So it pays off, guys. You know, I used to be really bad at color. I used to not really understand value much. And now I just feel like I can almost paint whatever I want. And so don't be hard on yourself if you're trying this for new and you feel like you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? You know, I have over 20 years of creating too. So that's another thing. I created in a lot of different mediums before I went to this one. So I like the touch of the yellow in there, and I'm liking the light. Playing with that. I'm going to hit a little bit of it on this edge of the seahorse there. And then I wouldn't mind putting some more, a little bit of value in here, but I'm going to go really light and just leave it like rim lighting. Okay, so that's feeling really good. So I'm going to play with the plants a little bit, and our little background is coming together quite nicely. I would say the area that we need to clean up a little bit is, you know, just around here. I'm going to use some of the greens and bring up some of the values in here. Use that green core color right on the edges here. Wiping off, get some more here. I will say I'm going through a record of tips on my wands because I'm doing so many things. I'm looking at my values here, and I don't want to put too much into here. I think I kind of like that they're a little bit, you know, abstract out. I might tone down some of these transitions here. Put a little bit of the green on the edges. Core green. Let's see. Teresa, welcome. Newbie here. Loving your technique and how you achieve the glow. New subscriber. Well, welcome, Teresa. You come on the year celebration of me live streaming for a year, and so I have a ton of content for you. And I also feel free to check out my website. I got a ton of stuff on there too, and I'm glad that you made it here today. Okay, I'm gonna put in a little bit of this blue turquoise right here and see how that makes me feel. So I might play with a little bit of the pencils right here. I also want to bring this blue to make it a little bit more vibrant right here. And we have the green with it. Really wanted this to be pushed back a little bit. Okay. So the seashells are something I wouldn't mind cleaning up a little bit. I'm going to bring a little bit of this burnt sienna in to make them a little bit variegated. And let's get them cleaned up. And I'm trying to darken, you know, that line there. It doesn't need to be as strong. So a little bit of burnt sienna down here. I always like to variegate things and not have them be all, this can be a little darker, one color. Black goes really far, so I usually have to wipe off my wand after I put a couple dots down. And then this can be a little bit darker down here. And I'm okay that there's a little bit of the orange in there. It can harmonize. And I can hit some black to push this down where that line and the greenery, you know, we're creating some dimension in there. Wipe off my wand, and then I'm blending. I'm gonna bring some of the blue in here. Just some of the reflection, kind of bring it, make it interesting. And on these little guys, I can also bring some pencils in for some details on here. I mean, it can go as detailed as we want, so I could definitely keep going. And if I would take a break and come back, I'd probably, you know, take it to a whole nother level. But I think for today, you're definitely going to give yourself a good start here. So I'm going to bring some of these pencils in, and I'm going to create some little scribble marks. So like that this is some greenery that's not so solid. And then I can tap that down a little bit. I'm being gentle, I'm not like going crazy. And then I can tap it down and blend it in a bit. And then to bring some light in on that greenery, I can just bring it up a little bit in value because that sunlight's coming down and hitting the bottom. So this is the emerald light. So we don't have to be too perfect. And I can get some light hitting in here. So you can see how much fun this can be. So I'm going to go on to the plants and just clean up some of these tips. And bring out the light a little bit on them. It's worth sharpening your pencil if they go dull. Take the time. Thank you, Peg. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Oh, does Lynn have a new granddaughter? That's exciting. Did I miss that? Well, congrats. Sometimes I'm like scrolling back up, like how did I miss that? Oh, here we go. No, I didn't see it there. Well, congratulations, Lynn. Oh, it's Louise. Louise, congrats on the granddaughter. Oh, maybe you read chat back up because I think we did that. So now I can go through with some of these plants and say I didn't put a lot of detail in them, but I can, you know, bring out some of the light on some of them. And a little bit of detail will go a long way. So I'm trying to find the happy medium of, you know, getting a little bit of light on these guys, a little bit of rim light here. And that just brings out that flow even more. I don't love that those two are touching there. I'm going to fix that. And I'm going to use my eraser. So this is a pen eraser by Tombow that I love. And I would rather have that plant be on its own and not touching into the seahorse. And so now I'm just fixing it. So I'm not leaving until I'm like super happy with it. I'm going to go with my darker pencil, and that's the 530. And I'm going to create a little bit of transition. Kind of get rid of some of those black lines that I don't really need. And then I can use that. Well, that's coming together quite nicely. Oh, did I just get it? Helene, oh my gosh, that's such a generous super chat. Hello. Canadian even. $27.99. Thank you so much. You've been I'm so glad that you're here, and you've been you're a Pastel Insider member. Thank you so much. Janelle, you are quite welcome. So glad you're enjoying the lesson. I'm getting to the home stretch here. I'm feeling like it's getting there. I got a couple more things I want to do. All right, Helene, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Oh, Sonny's playing now. He's not sleeping anymore. He's like, what's going on, Mama? This is going on longer than normal. Magda says, great depth in the body of the seahorse. I love this work. It'll be a pleasure to show it to my art buddies. I'm going to try my beginner's hand on it. Thank you for spending all this time with us. You're welcome, Magda. You're very welcome. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the lesson. It takes time though, you guys. Like it just got to be patient with yourself and just have some fun and don't take it too seriously and don't judge yourself. Just enjoy and give yourself permission to learn, you know, give yourself that time and space, and just kind of blurring that out a little bit. So I could definitely keep going with that. We wanted this to look like moss coming in on the shelf. I mean the shell. Okay, so I'm going to smooth this out. So now I'm going to look onto in my camera, and I'm going to smooth out anything and kind of play with some of the values here and do some final adjustments. So I'm going to play with my blacks because I really want that to look like a coral coming up, like it's coming up from the deep here. If I've lost a line and I want to put it back in, I can load that edge of my wand and just put that line back in if I want. So like I said, the pastel pencils and the PanPastel aren't as good of friends when you go reverse. Some dark here and then put some blue in here. So we're really playing off that complementary color scheme. So I'm hitting any of those, you know, transfer marks that I can still see. Okay, and then there's one spot right here I see that I want to fix a transition right here. And I'm feeling pretty good about it. I might go in with a little bit of the white to play off of the light that's on the seahorse. Just that it's hitting this ground, you know, here. Just a little delicate. Yeah. Even put some little, you know, speckles. I like that. I was going to do air bubbles and stuff, but I think that's too much for today. I could keep going. I was like, Dawn, you got to limit yourself, you know? So right here's the transition that I want to fix before I call it a go, done. So I'm going to bring this down and I'm looking in my screen to see if that's, you know, I'm going to stand back. I'm going to take a drink of water. I'm going to stand back and look at it. At least give myself a minute here. Let me use this. We got a few transitions we need to work with here. So I'm just getting these guys to blend out a little bit. And then up here, just a little bit. Okay, I don't think I have a fresh wand. Let me flip this. And then I'll do this one corner here. That transition. I just want it to be smoothed out. Wow, you guys, we got 52 of you here still. I'm pretty impressed. Just working on this little transition. I'm taking some of that turquoise and the permanent green and the white. And I'm just going to try to blend this transition out a little bit. Wipe off my wand, going with a little bit of the blue, a little bit of the green shade. So that line is so it's a lot about going back and forth, like I keep saying. And then right here, yeah, I probably overcorrected, course corrected right there, but that's okay. I just gotta massage that back in and this just puts the saturation back in. I really love how the pencils can knock down on here and give you that look. So I don't know, you guys, what do you think? Do you think I'm at a good stopping point? I've enjoyed the journey. I might have to go, you know, take a rest for a while, but I'm feeling pretty strong. I feel like my back feels really good, which, you know, can be a little hard on some of these. I'm feeling good. It was meant to be today. So I can still fuss with this. There's a part of me that wants to just go a little bit bold right here with the red. Just right where that eye is. And then I can bring it up with the Indian yellow. No, it's not 215. It's called orange yellow. Nope. Indian yellow. I was right. Blend it out a little bit. All right. I think I like that little pop. Let's see here. Dawn, do you sign your paintings on the back? No, I signed them all on the front in the corner. Yeah, I signed them all in the front. You don't ever really get to see that part, but I use a really sharp black pastel pencil, and or I'll change the color depending on what I am working on, like what the piece needs. I don't always stick with the same color, but I could definitely keep fussing with this piece. But I do think it's at a really good spot. Oh, wait, there's some orange right there. But you can see I can touch the paper. It's not like this stuff's falling off. All of my color pieces, let's talk about this before I leave. I probably have pastel on my face, but it's a year. It's good. So the one thing I want to talk about, you're done with your easel. I have a video on how to mount your pastel paper if you're interested in taking that extra step. It's not required. It does help a lot in storing. I take all of my finished pieces and I store them in between a piece of folded glassine. Then I take that glassine and I put it into 2 pieces of cardboard when I'm ready to ship it, or, you know, have it until it gets framed. I also will just take the glassine and I just stack them, like I have that going on right now because I'm having a big show on March 31st on Facebook with Stephanie Gagos. I'm doing an auction with all of my work. I'm going to have 35 pieces in that auction. And so right now they're all stacked up and ready to be shipped out. So to care for your piece, I'll just stack them in glassine and until they're ready to be shipped. And that's how I do. But I have quite a few videos on all of that. I have framing videos. And especially if you become a Pastel Insider member, I have, you know, a DIY framing. I have a full framing with spacers video here on YouTube though too. So all kinds of good information for you guys. So I'm going to wrap it up here and see what I'm going to answer anything before we go. Helene says, my pleasure, Dawn. You've been so great. You've been great to us, and congratulations on your ear. Thank you so much, Helene. Francine says, I love this painting. It has a dreamy underseas fantasy vibe. Well, that's definitely my vibe. Loretta says it's gorgeous. Seahorse and fauna. Flora and fauna is my jam, so I love going into the sea. I want you to know this is like my, come here, Sonny, you want to say hi? This is my first under the sea type painting, and so I haven't really gone into the sea very much, and I'm excited to kind of go forward that. I have a really cool whale I want to do. I got a seahorse with a baby. I got all kinds of fun ideas that I want to do, and I hope you will come check it out. So Cameron, thank you for your support. Francine, I appreciate you this past year so very much. Love you in the community as well. Thank you so much. All of you guys, just thank you. This is little Sonny. He hangs out with me. He's like, I'm ready to go, Mom. Temple, thank you so much. Yeah, I haven't tapped into the sea, guys, so I'm just getting started. I've done all of the things for the earth and the forest and all of that and the women and the abstract. So I'm really excited to kind of tap into this uncharted territory for me. Thank you, Kez. You're still here. That's awesome. Thank you so much. He's all grunting. He's going, I don't know if you can hear him. Stephanie says, thank you so much, Dawn. Congratulations. Sarah, you're welcome. Karen, no problem. Thank you so much. Looking forward. I'm so glad that you're here, Karen. You've been a trooper. Hi, Kez. You want to say hi to Kez? He's like, Chrisella. Hi, Chrisella. Thank you, guys. I know he, look, it's a mohawk, guys. Like, he can have a full mohawk. And he's such a scruffy little old guy. He's 9 years old. He's a Chorky. If you've ever heard of a Chorky before. Been a great lesson. Thanks for sharing. Happy anniversary. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Susan. All right, you guys. I can't believe I've had my, you know, record people here. This has just been fabulous. Thank you for celebrating with me. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. It's been great. And you guys, you know, take care, and I hope you enjoyed the free lesson, and I will see you guys next week. For next week, you're going to get a Pastel Peek, and all my Pastel Insider members, you're still getting a free lesson. Not a free lesson. You're getting your lesson this week. It's just a surprise. You have to just wait, and you find out on Friday what you're going to get. So, all right, you guys, you take care, and I will talk to you soon. Oh, wait, just a second. I'm getting, oh no, that's nothing. I thought that was to me. All right, you guys, you take care. I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye-bye.